Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am checking my volumes. Mr. B, he hates it when I check my, Nick Burafedo hates it when I check my volumes. So every once in a while I will check them because I need to, but I always dedicate that part of the show to Nick Burafedo, and so that's what this part is. Okay. The market is looking pretty. It's been pretty flat. This thing, I mean, when I see the market that it is, you know, in all the time I've been doing this, XRP would surge and then it would do a major pullback. But this time feels a lot different because when it got up over $2, it didn't do anything drastic pullback wise, and now it's done the same thing when it got up to $3. And it sure does feel like a rocket on the freaking platform, and the engine's warming up. So it's feeling good right now. Now, look, we've been seeing all this Bitcoin only stuff, folks. What's so silly about all that is that these people are not factoring in at all what's going to happen to the economy overall with digital assets, the infrastructure that's being built where these things are actually going to be used. Lucky for us, we've got adults. You have to go and find the adults to wade through all the Bitcoin, the narrative that's carefully crafted. Make no mistake about that. We have to wade through it. But the adults will let you know, but unfortunately now we need a level playing field in crypto media too. And so there's only a few of us that are wading through it and bringing it to you. If we didn't, all you would hear is Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Just like before we busted ETHgate wide open, all you heard was Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Now Ethereum's on shaky ground. And I'm not saying Ethereum won't do well, and I'm not saying Bitcoin won't do well. And I'm not saying that I don't want them to. I want all of them to do well. We've wanted a level playing field. Those people did not want a level playing field. They wanted a monopoly, period. But guess what? They're not going to get it. Listen to the adults. This is Christian Carlo, who was former CFTC chairman under Donald Trump in his first term. If I can get it to play. Let me hit the refresh button on that bad boy.
I think the 21st century is going to be very, very, very different. The 21st century is going to be a series of competing digital networks of value.
Competing. That's the word the Bitcoiners don't want to hear.
Some of those are going to be decentralized like Bitcoin with no central operator.
And XRP.
But tens of thousands, if not millions of people operating nodes in the system. Other systems are going to be highly centralized, some of them run by nation states like China with its digital yuan and Europe with its digital euro, and some centralized and run by private sector big tech companies like PayPal or Circle. And others are going to be fractionalized deposits or digitized digital accounts at financial institutions, tokenized deposits. And some are going to be operated by states. I think I heard this morning that Florida is toying with the idea of a digital Florida coin that will be legal tender in Florida. And I don't know whether that passes constitutional muster. But we're going into a very different 21st century world that's not going to be the kind of unified world of the 20th century, unified around the dollar. And we're going to have to ask ourselves some key questions. How do we future-proof the dollar for this world? How do we preserve its reserve currency status if we can? And most importantly, how do we preserve the values that the dollar has traditionally stood for? The values of free trade, free enterprise, and most importantly, freedom to engage in commerce free of government surveillance and government censorship.
Now, here's the clip that the Bitcoiners really don't want to hear, because he's talking about a digital commodity stockpile. And this is adult talk, because historically, all the countries hold a stockpile of commodities, whether it's, he mentions it in here, soybeans or silver, gold. That's just smart to do, have a diversified stockpile of commodities. It's smart to do in a competitive world. It's smart to do for national security reasons. So the idea that we're going to somehow put only Bitcoin, who they don't know who created it, only Bitcoin in a reserve is ridiculous and silly when they don't even know who created it, supposedly don't even know who created it. Listen to this.
We may once again base our currencies on a commodity, but this time a digital commodity, one that has program scarcity built into it, such as Bitcoin. Oh, it's not such a far-fetched idea because countries like the BRICS nations are already experimenting with that idea, and China's been talking about it with their own digital commodity. So the notion of a stockpile, and I would ask the question, does it need to be limited to Bitcoin? Maybe it might be limited to other digital commodities like Ethereum, like XRP or others, but we can explore that. But I think the notion of a stockpile makes a lot of sense. In fact, nations like the United States, nations like China stockpile commodities all the time. We stockpile petroleum. China stockpiles soybeans. They stockpile rebar. They stockpile copper. So commodities are stockpiled by nations all the time. And we should be, and President Trump is absolutely right to be thinking about a stockpile of digital commodities. And we're absolutely right to be thinking about.
And the children think we're just going to have we're going to open ourselves up for national security wise. We're just going to have Bitcoin, and China and all them, they're just going to have a Bitcoin. Everybody's just going to have, I mean, that is lunacy. It's Looney Tune. By the way, Chris Giancarlo, who you just saw, will be at XRP Las Vegas. He was there last year. He actually comes out into the crowd and talks to everyone. He came out with his wife. Very nice people. He'll be out there. Brad Garlinghouse is going to be on stage, interviewed by Dr. Chris Brummer that does DC FinTech Week from Georgetown. It's going to be something, and the numbers are just crazy, folks. There's going to be thousands. Okay. And then last night, the official cool guy captured a clip where David Sachs comes on to, and he comes on Laura Ingraham and talks a little bit of crypto. If I can get it to play, let me hit the refresh on that one. Here we go.
When are we going to hear the announcement about the Bitcoin reserve from the Trump administration? Everyone's waiting for that. We got the study and the review, but the Bitcoin reserve, Texas is going to move forward. It looks like with legislation, Dan.
Boy, they do pass around the Bitcoin reserve talking points, don't they?
And, Patrick announced today that's a big priority for them in Texas. But how about the Trump administration?
Well, there's also a bill in the Senate. I think Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming has introduced a bill to create a national Bitcoin reserve. President Trump has asked us to study that issue, so we're just not ready to comment on it yet, but it's one of the things our working group's going to look at.
Can't wait. David, thank you.
Boy, they're going to cry. Now, this is a very interesting point to make. We've been served up the Bitcoin Ethereum narrative for all these years, and like I said, once we exposed ETHgate, that got a little quiet. But we're still being fed the Bitcoin narrative. In this clip, the word crypto is mentioned 4 times. He says Bitcoin 2 times, but then Cointelegraph highlights only the Bitcoin part. This is soft crafting of the media narrative. We've seen it from Cointelegraph and CoinDesk for years. Now, Cointelegraph has been better recently, but this stuff is so obvious.
I've been excited about the president's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of crypto is about freedom, and the crypto economy is here to stay. The Democrats are running from it because they're trying to wash off the stench of Sam Bankman-Fried and his family's donations to the Democratic Party. So they're willing to take down a whole industry because of bad behavior on their part, bad behavior one actor. And I think that everything's on the table.
Well, what they were actually doing is it was their second or third attempt at trying to create a monopoly in crypto.
With Bitcoin. And to me, one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin is for a generation of investors who maybe post the great financial crisis have been looking for investment opportunities, or maybe they'd soured on markets. Crypto is bringing in young people. It's bringing in the people who haven't participated in markets, and having a market culture in the U.S. and people believing that markets work for them is a centerpiece of capitalism.
Boy, he sure did say crypto a lot. Now, here you go again. Now, it's not an accident that these people serve up Bitcoin as the topic and not crypto. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy talking Bitcoin.
Hard gold doesn't have to be the only gold. Gold has to be transported. It has to be held. What if there was a different way to hold a finite supply of something of inherent value? So that was actually part of the premise behind Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
So I would put that in a different and, in some sense, superior category to something that you could just print more of, because then it's not differentiated. I'm not one of these people, though, that turns crypto into like a new religion. I'm all in on this coin or that coin. It becomes like a substitute for faith.
Got it.
But I do think that the ability to
he knows.
Opt out of the traditional financial system is a good thing, and it would hold people accountable, hold people's feet to the fire by keeping the government more accountable. If people had the ability to opt out of the traditional currency system, that then forces the government itself in the long run to be more
They can opt out, and then they can have a choice in crypto, not just Bitcoin.
more disciplined about its spending rather than just turning on the money printing machine. Hard gold doesn't have to be the only gold. Gold has.
I've been here a long time, and let me tell you what, that's Vivek Ramaswamy with Stuart Alderati walking. There's a good and important reason they never say XRP out loud, folks. Write it down. Just write it down. And then I don't trust Cynthia Loomis as far as I can throw her. One of the first orders of business will be to hold public hearings on the strategic Bitcoin reserve, and we're going to make sure there's congressmen in there saying, wait, why would you just do that? That seems like a national security risk. You need to put important crypto in there that's going to actually be used for the infrastructure of the new financial system. And I said, including other digital assets to it, Senator Loomis, Bitcoin is not by a long shot the most important. Here's this is Austin King. He is the one that sold his company Omni to Ripple a long time ago. Very smart guy. He's going to be at XRP Las Vegas too.
Yeah, so when I first got involved, at this point in time, there were far fewer chains. It was really like Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum. Those were really the primary chains. And the thesis was, I was still in university studying computer science, and I really wanted to contribute to the space because to me, like everything that I do is just because I believe this technology can improve personal freedoms for people across the world. Kind of like full stop. That's why I do what I do every day. And so I wanted to contribute to the space. And one thing that felt very clear to me at that point in time is that these different chains had optimized for different things. XRP Ledger optimized for different things than Bitcoin did. Ethereum also optimized for different things. And so it felt clear to me that the world we were going to be living in was going to be one of at least a few blockchains.
Okay, and then this is a must-see right here, folks. Words matter. Listen to what he says. This is the Federal Reserve Chairman.
Our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at.
He corrects himself. You see, they're starting to show what's really going on.
At the banks, and we think it's, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. A good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging.
Folks, there's a few things to get out of that. One, the banks are coming. Two, he said he corrected himself. Crypto, not just Bitcoin. And three, the third thing is, and I know the whole slogan is not your keys, not your crypto. That's going to become a bunch of bull, folks. I personally do not. The personal crypto custody, to me, that's not the way to go. I love my iTrustCapital account because I get access to tax-free trading, but I also get access to institutional grade storage. It's the one place where mine is safer than anywhere. Okay, but I did it just like everybody else, the self-custody and all that, but that's not my game anymore. And it's not gonna be. If you want the hordes to come in here, which they are gonna do, you're gonna be holding your crypto. If you have large amounts of it, you're gonna be holding it in banks. You're gonna be holding it in financial institutions, so that you have institutional grade custody. It's gonna be no different than when you buy a stock. You go on and you buy a stock. You don't think about that stock certificate, because someone is doing institutional custody. That Wall Street built that trust over 100 years. And it's going to be the same way, because they know they can't scale this industry unless they can give that peace of mind. Not for you and me that were here from early on, but for the big money people. A lot of them are older people. They're not going to come in unless they feel the same way that they do when they trade a stock, and they don't worry about, or a bond, and they don't worry about where the bond or the stock certificate is. They know that they're with a financial institution and they can trust it. And that's the fact, Jack. This industry will not mature until you have that. Now, Paul Graywall, who's the CLO of, man, I'm going to have to cut this video off. Paul Graywall, who's the CEO of Coinbase, he says, come in and register was the biggest lie in the 90-year history of the SEC. Well, Paul, I'm going to have to correct you on that. Yes, it was a big lie. ETHgate was a bigger lie. The Hinman IG report is still, it transcends into administrations. It is still sitting on the desk of now Mark Uyeda. It was sitting on Gary Gensler's desk, and he didn't release the Hinman IG report. It's still sitting on the desk over there. ETHgate is the biggest scandal. And you know how you know it's the biggest scandal in crypto? Because neither side, nobody will even talk about it. The only people that talk about it are people in the XRP army. They won't even speak of it. They won't even say the word. They won't even say the word Hinman. But the people over here in the XRP army, we say it. Stuart Alvarado said it the other day. He said he wants an apology from Bill Hinman. Okay, I've gone over already. I got so much more. We're going to talk about the kid that wants to have a war against Ripple after Ripple defeats the SEC. This child has decided that he would like to have a war against Ripple over XRP. Boy, he said that's the hill he wants to die on. Unfortunately for him, that's the hill he wants to die on. It's going to be fun watching this train wreck. I'm going to show you some things that I put together that, I mean, this kid, he don't even know what a fight is. He just took a piss on the XRP army. Mistake time. Well, we all have to, I tell my kids all the time, we all have to learn hard lessons in life sometimes. And Jack Mahlers gets to learn his now. Come on in to check it out, daixrp.com. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family, away we go.